Alright guys, this story is just too crazy not to do another video on. So, 9 News ran this story on September 28th. 3 former Adams County Sheriff administrators charged with falsifying training records. The Colorado Attorney General Phil Weiser announced Thursday that his office has charged former Adams County Sheriff Rick Regenborn and 2 members of the command staff with felony counts related to an alleged scheme to falsify training records while they were members of the sheriff office. Regenborn and his former undersheriff Thommie McLallen and his training supervisor Mickey Bethel are each charged with felony counts of forgery, attempt to influence a public servant, conspiracy to commit forgery, and conspiracy to attempt to influence a public servant. According to the affidavit, Regenborn, Bethel, and McLallen were accused of signing training rosters for classes they didn't actually attend to count the hours toward their annual police officer standards and training post-certification. One of the trainers for a June 2021 class on arrest control and driving told investigators that several high-level staffers were missing from the training, the affidavit says. At the end of the day, the trainer said he got a phone call asking him to meet Regenborn and bring the training rosters to him. The deputy told investigators that he watched Regenborn and Bethel write on the training rosters and remembered Regenborn calling McLallen to say the rosters were at the front desk for him, even though McLallen didn't attend the training either. All 3 were listed on the training roster according to the affidavit. Bethel, the department's training supervisor at the time, is accused of logging in as McLallen to complete critical police training at the end of 2021 while McLallen was at another training at Northwestern. According to the affidavit, Bethel told another deputy, "I think I fucked up," and went on to say he got McLallen's username and password, logged into the police training program, and did the online Police One training for McLallen, and later gave McLallen the training certificate. Bethel was also once a member of the Pueblo Police Department, our home of the heroes, but was fired after a sex tape featuring Bethel, his wife, and another man surfaced, the Denver Post reported in 2015. A jury acquitted Bethel of official misconduct. I believe it's in 2017, but 9 News has a typo of 2007, which would involve time travel, so I'm going with 2017. Relating to the sex tape, the Pueblo chieftain reported at the time. He later became the Rocky Ford police chief before leaving that post and going to work for Adams County when Regenborn took office as sheriff in 2019. McLallen was the chief of Walsenburg Police Department before it dissolved in 2017. All officers in Colorado are required to complete a minimum of 24 hours of annual in-service training. 12 of those hours include so-called perishable skills training and arrest control driving and firearms training. So, there you go. It's just a really weird story, guys. And so this again involves a previous Pueblo Police Department officer, Bethel, and apparently his buddy, Tommie McLallen, who, under investigation, we found appears to be TJ McLallen. That's Thomas McLallen, who's the current rookie police officer over at Pueblo Police Department. It appears to be his father. So, I guess like father, like son, the apple does not fall far from the tree here. We got his father is now accused of, felony forgery here, involving these training certificates. If you recall, Thomas McLallen at Pueblo Police Department is the rookie officer who fist bumped with Nate Collison, caught on body cam and surveillance. There, he told IA investigators while waiting for the citation to be issued, "I contacted one of the involved parties," not even referring to Nate Collison by name, instead stating he was wearing a gray tank top with gray shorts and glasses, as if he didn't even know who Nate Collison was. Later on in the IA interview, they asked him, "But you don't really know him. You're not friends with him." McLallen responds, "Correct. And you actually had to take some time to actually figure out who this was." McLallen, "Correct. Yet we know, through our investigation, that both Nate Collison and Thomas McLallen were friends on Facebook, liking each other's posts and photos. One even as far back as 2021. Unfortunately, Facebook can't tell you when a reaction happened on a particular post, but this post was from 2021, so presumably, the reaction was probably sometime around that time, and if proven true, that would mean that they were liking each other's posts and photos prior to this incident even happening. And yet, he told investigators he barely even recognized him, knew him from high school, even though they were in different years. You be the judge. If proven true that they did know each other, the Pueblo Police Department could send a notification to the post board, which would end up revoking his certification. Under the Colorado Revised Statutes 24-31-305, it states, "The law enforcement agency that employs or employed the certificate holder notifies the post board on or after the effective date of this subsection that the certificate holder knowingly made an untruthful statement concerning a material fact or knowingly omitted a material fact on an official criminal justice record while testifying under oath or during an internal affairs investigation or administrative investigation and disciplinary process." And then it says above that paragraph that if the law enforcement agency did that, that post shall decertify the certificate holder. Whether or not Pueblo Police Department will do that on their own accord remains to be seen. However, in that same statute, under paragraph H, it says, if a law enforcement agency is notified that a peace officer who is employed or who was employed by the agency is alleged to have knowingly made an untruthful statement concerning a material fact or knowingly omitted a material fact on an official criminal justice record, like, I don't know, maybe the memo that he wrote and didn't even state anything about knowing or recognizing Nate at all, and in fact omitted Nate's name in the memo to make it appear as if it was just some anonymous party that he happened to interact with. Anyways, I digress. Or while testifying under oath, or during an internal affairs investigation or administrative investigation and disciplinary process, or on or after the effective date of this subsection, the agency employing the peace officer or the last law enforcement agency to employ the peace officer shall investigate the allegation, unless the accused peace officer has not been employed by the agency for at least 6 months preceding the date upon which the agency was notified, in which case the agency may investigate the allegation. So, if you feel the need to redress your government, you may want to notify Pueblo Police, that law enforcement agency, that a peace officer employed by them may or may not have made knowingly an untruthful statement concerning a material fact, or may have knowingly omitted a material fact from a criminal justice record, or while testifying in an internal affairs investigation. That's all I have for you today. But the complaints and corruption and everything else just keeps rolling in. It's hard to keep up, guys.